No matter how many glass towers and fountains are built here, Dallas, Texas will always be remembered for one thing.
The President of the United States is dead.
Using the Zapruder film, the Warren Commission determined that the first shot struck the President in the back at this point right here. Then, they said the fatal headshot struck the President in the back of the head.
The work of a single gunman? No one believes that anymore.
Shots have been fired from all points down the fence line, behind the tree there that fired the shots.
Today in the state of Texas, ordinary citizens can get permits to carry a concealed weapon. So it's safe to assume that any future presidential motorcades here will be watched by spectators armed to the teeth.
And now it doesn't matter where you put your head. That's right. Just going to center it in the reticle. You can use it in conjunction.
Just across town, what looks like the annual Lee Harvey Oswald Convention is getting underway. It's not, of course. Without a hint of irony, the National Rifle Association chose Dallas for its 125th anniversary celebrations.
That's pretty neat.
It's a showcase for every conceivable toy a gun lover could desire.
We just like to play and shoot, you know how us Americans are.
This is the guns that made the 20s raw.
I may be steeped, young man, in Native American history, but I'm up to date in the latest rifle technology.
And slides them into the holster that way, and there you are.
You can wear it on your left shoulder for the quick draw if you need to. Wear it on your right shoulder. Keep your hand on the gun at all times. And that way it's concealed. If you feel a little nervous, shoot right through the end of the bag. We'll lace it for free for you. That's right. It's great.
Stand by. Ready.
The gun obsession can be overwhelming if you're not prepared for it. But don't dispute their right to ownership. That'd be like wearing shoes into a mosque.
Touring the exhibits, and I'm looking for a small gun to carry, because in Texas we have the right to carry. I have a purse, already have the purse to carry it in.
This is a Taurus 9mm semi-automatic. It's a great self-defense unit. Poor lighting conditions, you can simply turn it on. You can spot on your target, whether it be a person or whatever.
You got those grips on my little Model 60. What is that one?
It's a 5-shot.
That's a 5-shot. Yeah. This is just like Granny's got, but she doesn't have the new model. She has the old Model 36.
You have to keep reminding yourself that this is the mainstream, that the National Rifle Association has long been the most powerful political lobby in the country. Over the past 125 years, the National Rifle Association has managed to equate gun ownership with everything from love of God and country to family values and freedom.
Almighty God, upon whose truth this nation is founded, and by whose law this society is ordered.
Even the prayers here are political.
And soon displace those who pretend to protect the people's rights while denying the people's rights and means to protect themselves.
There are more than 3 million paid-up members of the NRA. And this year in Dallas, their representatives were here to welcome a new president, the gun-loving granny, Marion Hammer, whose credentials were broadcast via giant video screens.
The American eagle, a symbol Marion finds strength in, a sign of independence, letting her conscience be her pilot, her courage be a role model. Knowing that destiny is not something you wait for. Destiny is a choice.
Eagles spoke to our founding fathers. Eagles speak to me. And we have a long history and a tradition of women standing shoulder to shoulder with men, fighting for our freedom and liberty.
The aptly named Mrs. Hammer espouses a sort of make my day version of women's liberation.
God created man, and Colonel Colt made us equal.
But believe it or not, Marion Hammer is the gentle face of the NRA. The real political force is the Executive Vice President, Wayne LaPierre.
In November 1994, you launched a political revolution that changed the face of Congress and rewrote Bill Clinton's idea of American history.
He's talking about the huge sums of money the NRA put up to back pro-gun Republicans.
But listen to me very carefully. Listen. Liberty is always unfinished business.
As the NRA mobilises against President Clinton, they have some familiar faces to make the Second Amendment sound like one of the 10 Commandments.
You consider yourself a keeper of the flame, and you intend to pass that torch on to the next generation of Americans.
Charlton Heston considers himself one of the keepers of that sacred flame.
With one lost generation, we could lose the Second Amendment forever, because we didn't teach them what the battle's all about. We didn't strike that spark in their hearts that lights the fire for freedom.
But if the halls here were anything to go by, that generation was already spoken for.
There you go. Wait for it to beep again.
Coaxed and trained by the keepers of the flame. The much vaunted Second Amendment refers to the right to bear arms in the context of a well-regulated militia. A lot of other Americans doubt that this is what the Founding Fathers had in mind.